trying the camera in a new place. We'll see how that works. And we're going to make a stacked candle holder. So just small parts, and rather than centering a small part over and over individually, we're going to center one larger lump and then throw and cut some smaller pieces off of this one lump that we can trim and stack together to create the candle holder form. So I'm going to center first, squeezing from both sides. Got my elbow anchored into my leg. My right hand is not moving. Pushing down with the left. Squeeze from both sides. Slide this part of my thumb onto the top of the clay and push down. Squeeze. Slide that thumb up on top and push down. I'm going to get centered fairly quickly, and then I'm going to pay more attention to a smaller piece on the top to make our first section. So I'm going to make the base of the candle holder first. And I'm just going to squeeze in a little harder with the outside of my pinkies and get a smaller piece up to the top. Make sure that that is nice and centered. I'm going to go ahead and open. And since this is going to be the base, I'm going to leave this rim a little bit thicker because it's actually going to be the bottom. And I'm going to make this 3 or 4 inches wide so that it's nice and stable, just a small bowl form. Clean out the extra water really on any form that you're making so that you prevent cracking. And I'm going to cut this first piece off. So just a small bowl form, maybe 2 inches tall and about 4 inches wide. I'm going to continue just using the bottoms of my pinkies and squeezing in a little more, collaring really, to start the next piece. And so I've got my base. Now maybe I want to make this one a little bit taller, get some height to my candle holder. I am leaving a bottom on them when I cut them off. I'm not cutting them off as hollow forms. It sort of gives you more options. If you want to cut the bottom out as just a stacking piece so that you have air going all the way through, that's fine. But you can do that at any point. If you leave the bottom on them, then you kind of have more choices about how they're getting stacked. So this one I'm going to leave a little taller. I'll center a little bit. And on this one, I may, from the side, you can see the side there, I can squeeze in, collar in, so that I get some more bulbous areas more like a little bottle shape. I'm going to take this one off. So you can see the side where it's got some curve to it. And I'll keep going like this, making several parts that can be stacked up together. So think about how your parts are going to stack together. You might have some, you need to have that orange base, but then where you go from there is in those little bottle forms, or if you make more domed forms or circular forms. So this one's much rounder. Take this one off. You can see that that's more closed form. I think when people first start throwing, think, oh, I can't make anything bigger than a mug or a small bowl. That's really not true. Small pieces can be combined in so many ways to make larger pieces. This is just one example. I think I'm going to make more of a dish shape on this one. Just be the top piece, and I'm going to make it a dish shape so I have more options with what kind of candle I can use. I can have a 4-inch pillar in the top of it, or I can have a taper in it, a tea light in it. If I have the space, then I have more options. So I'm going to pull it out pretty much like a little plate. And I'm going to make an indent there for about what the size of a taper might be. And I'm going to make a little bit bigger space there for what a pillar would be. And then I have choices about what kind of candle I use it with. And I'm going to cut this one off. And they'll all get trimmed and or rasped before we put them together. I think I want to have another, I'm going to make mine quite tall because I think I'm going to sculpt a bird around the candle holder form after it's built. So I want to have some room, some height. So I'm going to make a taller piece here. That's again more of a spacer. The other thing is, even though you're making these forms and you're thinking about how you're going to stack them, also keep in mind that you can alter them further when they're leather hard. So you're going to be able to cut these pieces, cut and fold, cut and roll. Having few little extra pieces is not a bad thing. So you have more options. But the point is really that just because you're just starting out and making smaller forms, sometimes, simpler forms, like even back to the simplicity of a cylinder, which is crucial to your learning to throw well. It's why we made the first 5 small cylinders when you were just learning to center. Those were kind of practice for this. So even just simple cylinders, smaller simple cylinders, can be altered to create larger, more complex pieces. And I really want to get some height out of this one, so I'm collaring all the way from the bottom, or I'm collaring more pressure from the bottom, and then I'm moving my hands up and just squeezing slightly to get more height. Go back and just make sure that that's really well centered. And if I move this so you can see the side more again, I'm going to squeeze in, glide over, squeeze in, and getting sort of more shaped. Altered form on that simple cylinder. And that'll be a good size spacer for my candle holder. A little bit wonky there. Just careful when you're going tall. And then I'll cut this one off. So once they get leather hard, I'll come back and I'll show you how to assemble them. So here are all my little pieces from throwing yesterday. I dropped one on the floor, so that's completely flat in the back. This is still pretty soft, so I can reuse this. I can cut it, I can alter it, but let's stack up pieces in a couple different ways and see what we have. So I've marked this one as the base. This is the little 4-inch bowl that was the first piece that was thrown, and we want to have something on the bottom that's a little wider for more stability. And then I had a taller piece that I altered a little with the collaring in and making these indents. That one fits pretty nicely on the base. That can get cleaned up with the trim, and that's going to fit on there nice. So even just 2 pieces, we have something that resembles a candle holder. I'm going to go ahead and put another one on there. And if I want it that way, or if I want to turn over, play around with your different parts. And of course, they're going to get all cleaned up and trimmed so that they fit together nice and evenly. We're going to score everywhere that we attach. Even them up. So this started as a 2-inch tall piece. This middle one is maybe 6, 3, another 1.5. But from very small pieces now put together, I have a piece that I would say is about 14 inches total. So you definitely can make more complex pieces with smaller parts, even in wheel 1.